Or that when a person buys a new house, he buys new dishes, so then you make a bracha shechiyanu. Amar Ravuna said, "Leishano ala shein lekayetze behen." This halacha of the Mishnah is only learned in a case where he did not inherit any of these things that he's now making a bracha shechiyanu on previously. Avol yesh kayetze ben, but if he has a new house from before, or he has new dishes that he inherited from before, ain't tzarich levarach. So now if he buys another house and more dishes, he doesn't make a bracha because he already has a house that he inherited from before. Rav Yechanan says, "Afilu yesh kayetze ben." Even if he does have from before a house or dishes, tzarich levarach. He still has to make a bracha shechiyanu when he buys new ones. Now we're turning to the top of Daf Samach. Zok the Gemara. Mechlal, from this we can see the chikon of a chazavekana, that according to Rabbi Yechanan, if a person buys a new house or new dishes, and then he buys again, second time, another house, and again new dishes, divrei hakol ein tzarich levarach. Everybody would agree that he does not have to make a new bracha, because he just bought once, then he buys a second time, you don't have to make a new bracha. So this is one version of the argument between Rav Huna and Rabbi Yechanan. Others said, what Rav Huna said on our Mishnah is, the only time you have to make a new shechiyanu is the first time you buy. Not you bought and you bought again, you don't make the second time. You bought once, you repeated and bought again, then you don't make a shechiyanu. It's not new, it's you just bought. Rabbi Yechanan Amar, and Rabbi Yechanan argues and says, you bought one set of dishes and then you buy again another set of dishes, you have to make again a shechiyanu. You bought one house and you buy a second house, just using the examples of the Mishnah, but of course shechiyanu refers to other things that are new as well. But even if you bought once, twice, you still make a shechiyanu. That's what Rabbi Yechanan says. So from this we see that if he had before, he inherited from before, and now he bought for the first time, everybody would agree, even Rav Huna would agree, that in such a case he has to make a shechiyanu if it's the first time that he bought something new. Meisvei, the Gemara asks on this second opinion here. From a Braisa, it says in the Braisa as follows: a person bought a new house and he doesn't have another one from before. He bought new dishes and he doesn't have others like this from before. Tzarich levarach. He has to make a bracha shechiyanu. Yesh lechayetze ben, but if he inherited, he had from before a new house or new dishes, ain't tzarich levarach. He does not make a shechiyanu when he buys a new one. Divrei Rab Meir. This is Rab Meir's opinion. Rab Yehuda says, ben kach u ben kach tzarich levarach. Whether he already had inherited a house from before, dishes from before, and now he's buying a new one, he has to make a bracha shechiyanu. So now the Gemara explains that this will only fit with the first version that we brought, the machlekes of Rav Huna and Rabbi Yechanan, not with the second. According to the first version, Rav Huna ke Rav Meir. Rav Huna's opinion is perfectly like Rav Meir's opinion, that you only make a bracha if you didn't have anything from before. And Rabbi Yechanan ke Rabbi Yehuda. And Rabbi Yechanan follows Rabbi Yehuda's opinion that even if you inherited from before, you're now buying for the first time, you make a bracha shechiyanu. But according to the second version, Rav Huna fits with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, that if you inherited from before and now you're buying for the first time, you make a bracha shechiyanu. But Rabbi Yechanan that says that even if you bought once and you buy a second time, you still make a shechiyanu every time you buy. There's no opinion that says so in the Braisa. So who's he going according to? Like Rav Meir, like Rabbi Yehuda. He's not going like either opinion. Rabbi Yechanan responds and explains the pshat in the Braisa. The truth is that Rabbi Yehuda, that according to Rabbi Yehuda, that if you buy once and you buy a second time, nami tzarich levarach. You also have to make a shechiyanu. That's really Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. Why is their argument in the Braisa only said in the case where a person inherited from before, he had from before, and now he bought for the very first time? To come and tell you the opinion of Rab Meir, that he holds that even in such a case, you don't have to make a bracha of shechiyanu. Right? That's only coming to show you how Rab Meir is makel to say that you don't have to make a shechiyanu. That even in a case where he bought, and he never bought before, he only inherited before, and this is the first time he's buying, still he doesn't have to make the bracha. The kol shekain, Kana v'chazav v'kana dein tzarich levarach. And most definitely Rab Meir would hold that if you bought once and you bought a second time, that you don't have to make the bracha. So, but Rab Yehuda's opinion is that if you buy once and you buy a second time, you do have to make a shechiyanu. So therefore, that's Rabbi Yochanan's opinion is going to follow according to Rabbi Yehuda. Frag the Gemara. V'liflagu, why shouldn't their argument be bekana v'chaza v'kana? In a case where a person bought once and he bought a second time, the ein sarach levarach, to teach me that in such a case you don't have to make the bracha of shechayanu, leidiyacha koichet Rabbi Yehuda, to come and tell you how strong Rabbi Yehuda's opinion is. That in such a case you don't make the bracha. Why are we writing a case dafka to come and show the mile of Rabbi Meir's opinion? Maybe the Brachos should highlight Rabbi Yehuda's opinion, not Rabbi Meir's opinion. Why highlight one opinion over the other? The Gemara many times asks this question. Okay, so the Gemara answers, koyach de heteira odeflei, to show the koyach of heter, that you could make a bracha, that's odeflei, that's stronger than showing the isra that you can't make, that you don't make a bracha. That's the klal. The Gemara says this in many cases. When you have an argument, you always show the koyach of heter. That's the Brachos wants to highlight that more than showing the koyach of the isra. The person makes a bracha on something which is negative. The continuation of the Mishnah is that something that in the beginning is negative, even if something positive comes out of it, later the bracha is barach dayan emes, because originally it's something which is negative. Hey chidami, what's an example for this? There's a flood that came into his field. Avagav the tavi hilididei, even though you might gain something from this later. The maska ara sirtoin ushvacha, because the sediments of the land comes up through this flood, and it brings like a good fertilizer that he can later use for the field. But right now, for the grain that's in the field, it's a disaster that it gets into a flood. So therefore the bracha is dynamis.
Why didn't it bring the
Gemara is going to bring that later. I know the Gemara is going to do, I don't know why. Good question.
Will you bring dynamis only if somebody passed away?
No, lav dafka. Vala teiva chulud, same thing the Mishnah said, something which is good in the beginning, even though it brings something negative following, the bracha is going to be a teiva meitiv. Hey chidami, what's an example for this? A person finds a lost object. Even though if he takes it, it could be something bad for him. The Yishama B'malka, if the government, if the authorities find out that he has somebody else's item in his possession, they'll take it from him and they could arrest him for whatever. They can do something to him. But now that he finds an item, a metzia, this itself is a teiva for him, and therefore he makes the bracha on the present and not what comes out of it in the future. The Mishnah said, a person's wife is expecting, it says in the Mishnah. A person davens that his wife should have a boy, so since it's been determined already whether the child will be a zachar or a nekeva, it's a tfilas shav to daven for a zachar at that point. Does it not help to beg for mercy to have a zachar even after a person's wife is expecting a child? Rav Yosef asked a question from what it says by Dina. Va'acha yolda bas. Dina gave birth to a daughter. Va'tikra shma Dina, and she named the child Dina. What was the name Dina? Mai va'acher, and afterwards, and that after this, after what? Omarav. So Rav said, La'acha shadona Leah din ba'atzma. Leah took matters into her own hand and judged herself the situation. Va'omra, she said as follows. Yud be'shvatim asidin latzes mi Yaakov. 12 shvatim are going to come from Yaakov. Shishi yatzam mimeni, I already have 6 boys. Va'arba min ashvachis, and then another 4 from the 2 maids from Bilhah and Zilpah. Harei asara, so that's 10. Now, imzeh zachar, if I give birth to a 7th boy, my sister Rachel won't even have 2 children similar to one of the maids to Bilhah and Zilpah. So miyad, so she dived into the Eibishter that it should be a boy. Miyad nebcha labas, a girl that is. Immediately, the child became a girl. Shanema vatikra shma Dina. She called the name of the child Dina because of the fact that she judged the situation for the favor of her sister. She gave up from herself for the favor of her sister. So we see that you could daven to turn the child into an akeva. And for the Gemara, ein maskirin ma'aseh nisim. You can't mention, don't bring a proof from Leah, which is a person that experienced Mustama many other miracles, and therefore she was able to perform this kind of a miracle in her davening. But a regular person, to daven for a miracle, is considered to be a tfilas shav. Another opinion is, Maisa de Leah, this whole story that we said here about Leah, that she judged herself, it's within 40 days. Kedetanya, as we learned in the Braisa, Shloishi Yamim Marishainim, the first 3 days, Yivakish Adam Rachbim Shelo Yasriach. The first 3 days after a person has a relation with his wife, he davens that the seed his wife should conceive and have a baby. That's for the first 3 days. Mishloisha Vad Arboim, from after 3 days until 40 days, Yivakesh Rachmim Shiyeh Zochar. He can daven at that period that the child, his wife will conceive, will be a Zochar. From 40 days after and until 3 months, Yivakesh Rachmim Shelo Yehei Sandal. He should daven that there shouldn't be a second child that his wife should conceive, and then twins, sometimes one could squish the other, and then the baby will not be born properly. Rashi explains exactly what sandal means, that it's that the baby gets squeezed and then looks like a fish, and the baby is not born properly. Okay, so that's in that time period that you should daven that the pregnancy should go, everything should go smooth in the first 3 months. From 3 months until 6 months, that the mother should not miscarry. And then Mishisha Vatisha, from 6 months to the 9th month, Yuvakish Rachmim, you should beg from the Eibusha Sheyetze B'Shalom, that the child should be born peacefully and healthy. So we see that in each time period, a person davens for what's relevant in that time, and not if you're davening in a later time period for something that's already passed, there's no point, it's a tfilas shav. So the Gemara asks another question on this. Umi mahani rachmi, even within 40 days. So we just said that within 40 days, a person can daven to have a child, a zachar. So the Gemara asks, even in that time period, before the child is still formulated, whether a zachar and a keva, does it help for a person to daven? The seed of the man comes first, then the child that's born is in a keva. The seed of the woman comes first, and it's a zachar. So it's totally in the relation l'chatchila, has nothing to do with later in the 40 days. Shanaman, it's learned from a pasuk, Isha kisazriya v'yolda zachar. And for the Gemara, in a case that the zera of both the man and the woman came together at the same time, so since you can't determine if it's going to be a zachar or a keva, then you could daven within 40 days to know, to ask the Eibishter if it should be a zachar or a keva. So on this Gemara, the Yerushalmi argues. Here in our Gemara, it says that if you daven past the time period of 40 days, it's a tefillah shav. In Yerushalmi, it brings an opinion that you could daven even past 40 days. And then it actually brings an opinion over there. There's an argument. One opinion says a person can daven until the point, mamish, till the end of the 9 months when his wife is about to give birth. And in another opinion, it says even b'shas she's giving birth already, you could still daven that the child should be a zachar. So the Rebbe Nasicha brings this and says that this is the difference between the Bavli and the Yerushalmi. The Bavli looks at things mitzad teva, mitzad the mitzias of the person, mitzad the teva, a person can't daven after 40 days, that it should be in a keva. Yerushalmi is a yashar, it's a higher revelation, it's a different darga. Over there you could daven even for something b'derech nes. And it's a Nasicha where the Rebbe talks about Moshe Rabbeinu. The Moshe Rabbeinu davened 500 tefillas to enter into Eretz Yisrael, even though there was a gzeira, there was a shvua that the Eibishter made that he's not going to enter into Eretz Yisrael, but he still davened. Because even in a matzav of a gzeira and a shvua, a person could daven and the Eibishter will be mevatel the gzeira and be mevatel the shvua. That's the opinion of the Yerushalmi. So you see that there is a musig, even b'shas, is mamish something al piteva, that there's nothing you can do. Ayid davens weiter. Sagt the Gemara weiter, hoya baba derech. A person is going on the way. So it says the person was coming on the way, and he hears that there's screaming and crying in the city that he's coming to. So he shouldn't daven about it and ask the Eibishter that it shouldn't be in my house because it's something in the past. So it's a tefillah shav. Tana Rabbana, we learned in a Braisa, Maise behilul azakin. There was an incident with Hillel HaZaken, Shayababa Derech, he was traveling on the way, Vishama Kol Tzvacha Be'ir, and he heard shouting and screaming in the city. Amar, he said, Muftachani, I'm sure, Shein Ze B'toich Beisi, and it's not in my house. So it's not about davening, but it's about betochen. When a person hears something, you should have betochen that everything is okay. Regarding him, the pasuk says, Mishmua Ra La Yira, from hearing bad news, he should not be afraid, because Nachan Libay B'tuach, his heart is connected and he has B'tochen and the Eibishter, B'tuach B'Hashem. Rava said, Kol heiche the darshas la'ikra. However you dash in this pasuk, it's the same message. Mireisha l'seifa, you could dash it from the beginning of the pasuk, starting with the beginning of the pasuk and going to the end of the pasuk. Mireisha l'seifa, you could dash in it. Midrash, you could dash in it that way. And miseifa l'reisha, you could dash in it starting from the end of the pasuk, working your way back to the beginning of the pasuk. Midrash, you can dash it that way as well. Mireisha l'seifa, dashing, reading it from beginning till the end. Midrash, you can dash in it as follows: Mishmua ra la'ira. From hearing something bad, I'm not afraid. Why not? Matam. Then the pasuk explains why shouldn't he be afraid? Because nachan libe betuach b'Hashem. Because he has betachan at the Eibishter. Miseifa l'reisha. You could also read the pasuk starting from the end, going back to the beginning. Midrash. Nachan libe betuach b'Hashem. Because the person has betachan at the Eibishter. So therefore, mishmua ra la'ira. So therefore, he's not afraid from any bad news because he has betachan that the Eibishter takes care of him. Hahu talmida. There was a student that was following Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yossi in the marketplace, the Tzion, in Tzion. Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yossi saw that a student is afraid. He's afraid walking with him. You're a sinner. Those that are afraid in Tzion are sinners. You should not be afraid. You should have betachan in the Eibishter. So a student asked him, but it says in the pasuk, Ashrei Adam mefachid tamid. Fortunate is the person that constantly is fearful. So he's afraid of what the Eibishter can do to him. So adarabah, having constant pachad is a positive thing. Amalei, no. Ahu b'divrei Torah ksiv. That's only regarding limudat Torah. If a person learns Torah and he's concerned that he might forget what he learned, and therefore he reviews whatever he learns, so that's good. That a person should constantly learn, and not rely on the fact that he learned once, but keep on learning. But regarding life, things that happen, or a person's walking in the street, in the marketplace, a person should have betachan at the Eibishter. Similar story, the Gemara says, Yehuda bar Nosna v'shakol v'azal basrei de Rav Amnuna. He was walking together with Rav Amnuna, Asnach. So he groaned. Amalei yisurim baya hu gavra lasuya nafshei. Why are you groaning? Why are you so down? Do you want to bring pain upon yourself? The chsiv, it says, Ki pachat pachadati, because I'm afraid, vayasiyeni, and it comes upon me, vashiyagarti yovayalai. And what I was afraid of happened to me. If a person groans and he's afraid and he's concerned, so then he's opening up that should happen to him. If a person has betachin, this is mamish, this is the source of in the Gemara, Tracht gut wird sein gut. The Gemara is saying it in the negative. If you're afraid, so that attitude you have and the fear you have will come to be. In the positive as well, if a person has betachin, so that will come to be. So again, he asked him, fortunate is the person that's constantly afraid. He answered him, that refers to divrei Torah, that a person should always be concerned that I'm not learning enough and continue learning Torah. Next, we learned in the Mishnah, nichnas l'krach, a person enters into a city, he davens when he enters into the city, and he davens when he leaves the city. And also, brought another opinion there, that when he enters into the city and when he leaves the city, he should daven, but he should say two brachos. When he enters, thanking the Eibishter, davening to the Eibishter, and thanking the Eibishter, and he should say two brachos also when he leaves the city. This is Ben Azai's opinion. So the Gemara continues and says, Tana Rabbanon, when he enters into the city, what does he say? You should help me enter into the city in peace. Nichnas, once he enters, Aimer, he says, that I was able to enter into the city peacefully. The Gemara will soon explain what is exactly the fear and the danger that a person is davening before he enters into a city. What's the big deal here? Entering into a city, what's in a moment, the Gemara will explain. Bikish says, a person wants to go out of a city, so he's going out on a way. So here we understand the person has to daven, he's going out of a city. Aimer, he says, that I should be able to leave this city in peace. Yatsa, when a person actually left the city, Aimer, he says, I thank you, the Eibishter, that if you've brought me, you've taken me out of the city in peace. Just as you've brought me out of the city in peace, you should guide me to go on my way in peace. And this is part of the nusach of Tfilas HaDerech, when a person goes out on the way. So now, regarding entering into the city, so the Gemara explains what kind of a city are we talking about. We're talking about over here in a city, a person enters into a city, and it's a place where there's authorities there that they can take him they can arrest him and do something to him and kill him, and therefore it's dangerous entering into the city. That's the kind of city we're talking about, as the Gemara explains right now. Omer Rav Masna, so lo yishanu this, that a person is making a bracha and he's davening to the Eibishter when he enters into a city, like this is only said, ela bekrach she'ein donen v'hargim by. In a city where they won't first judge you, they won't give you the benefit of the doubt or the assumption of innocence to judge you before they would execute you if they arrest you. They could arrest you and execute you immediately. In a city where they'll only arrest you and then judge you and then allow you to defend yourself, and then they could execute you, so then there's no issue, because you could always defend yourself. Or if you know, actually, like Rashi says, if you know you did something that you deserve to be arrested for, so just don't enter into the city. So then the person doesn't enter, or he doesn't have to daven. Ikedamri. Others said, no, that's not true. Amar Rav Masna said, Afilu v'krach shedonen v'hargim by. Even in a city where they do give the person the chance to be judged and to defend himself, and then they would execute him, still the person should daven for peace. Zimnin, it's possible he won't find that witness he needs to come and testify to defend him. So therefore the person should daven that if anything happens, it should end peacefully. We learned in Abraisa, it's a person that enters into a bathhouse. So over here he also has to have a special tefillah. As Rashi explains, as we'll see in a moment in the Gemara, the drainage system of Amalek Zeiten wasn't like today, that you had a sewer system where everything drains out into the street and so on. It was all right below the Beis HaMerchatz. There was a massive pit where all the water and everything from the Beis HaMerchatz entered into that pit. And the Beis HaMerchatz was basically built, there was boards that were built on top of this pit. So every time you enter into a Beis HaMerchatz, there is a danger that if the floor cracks beneath you, you fall straight into the pit. As the Gemara will soon bring a story. So a person that enters into a Beis HaMerchatz, he says, save him from this and anything like this. And no kalkala, no, nothing bad should happen to me, or navedev. If I die, it should be an atonement for all of my sins. Amar Abaye, so now Abaye didn't like this. Abaye said, no, you shouldn't daven and ask for the Eibishter and mention your Avedis and kapara for your Avedis. You shouldn't open your mouth and give place for the Satan to have room to come and be mekatrik. We had this already in the Gemara before in Brachos here. When a person davens, he shouldn't daven and include in his tefillah, his Avedis and things like that to open his mouth for the Satan. Amar Rav Yosef, my kara, what's the source for this? The Yidden said, we're almost like Stein. And what happened after Demino? And compared to La'amayre Demino. Maya Hadalahu Navi. After they said that, what did the Navi respond to them? Shimu Dvar Hashem Ktsine Zdaim. Listen to the words of Hashem, the ministers of Zdaim. So the Eibishter responded to them, referring to them as Daim. If you open your mouth and you refer to yourself that way, so then the Eibishter responds that way. So therefore he says, don't mention your Avedis here. Ki nafik ma'yamer. When you walk out of the bathhouse, what do you say? That you saved me from fire. That he came out and he was saved. Now, the Gemara shares a story that happened. Rabavo entered into a bathhouse. Afchis beibani mitusei. The floor from beneath him broke open, and they were all going to fall into the pit. Israchish le'nisa. And a miracle happened. Kamal Amuda. He was able to hold on to a pillar to save himself from falling into the pit. And not only that, Shoziv Meyev Chad Gavri. B'chad Evore. He was able to grab onto another 101 people with one of his limbs. He was holding on to a pillar with one hand, and with another hand he was holding on to another 101 people. As Rashi explains, he was holding on to one person and that person to another person, and like this, 101 people, and they were holding on to each other, and they were able to save themselves. And Hainu de Ravacha. And this is what Ravacha mentioned, that when a person walks out of a bathhouse, he has to thank the Eibishter for saving him from fire. Now, the next three words, the Amar Ravacha, l'chayre, seems to be extrovert. The Bach takes it out. You don't really see the connection. A person goes to let blood, to take blood. This asek, what I'm doing here now, should be for a healing. V'terpeini, and you should heal me. Ki kel roife nemanata. You, Hashem, are the healer. Urufuascha emes, your healing is truthful. If you she'ein darkness shebnei adam l'rapais. It's not really a human being. They are not the ones that are causing my healing. El she'anogu. The doctors think that they're healing me. They are accustomed to healing people, but they're really not the source of healing. That's the tefillah that you say. Amar Abaye, so Abaye responded and said, no, leilei me'en neshachi. Person should not say this. That the doctor is not the one that could heal you. The Tana de Rabbi Shmuel, Verapa Yerapa. The Torah says Verapa Yerapa. What does that mean? Mikan shenitna reshus l'reifel erapis. That the Torah did give the permission and the power for a doctor to heal. So therefore, yes, of course, it's all coming with the koyach of the Eibishter, but the doctor is the shliach and the one that heals you. When you get up from being healed, from letting blood, what does he say? Thank you, the Eibishter, that heals you freely, for free. No insurance policy, the Eibishter for free heals you. A person that enters into the Beis HaKisei, what does he say? His skabdu mechubodim. So Rashi here says that wherever a person goes, he always has malachim that are going along with him. Malachim are accompanying him. So he's speaking to his malachim. He says to the malachim, "Iskabdu mechubadim, be honored, the honored ones with me. Kedoshim, the holy ones, Mishar Elyon, the servants of the Eibishter. Tnu kavod lelekei Yisrael, give kavod to the Eibishter, the God of the Yidden. Hirpu mimeni, leave me for one moment. At she'kanis v'eser etzayni, and I'll do what I have to, what I want, and I have to do. And then v'avei aleichem, I'll return to you." That's what he says. So he basically is asking them to wait for him, to leave him for a moment, and he'll return to them. Amar Abaye, again Abaye commented, no, leilei me'en neshachi. A person shouldn't say this. Dil mishafki lev azli. Maybe if he's telling them to leave him alone and to wait for him, they might leave him and then go away. Ella rather, lema, what should the person say? Shemiruni, shemiruni, guard me, azruni, azruni, assist me, help me, samchuni, samchuni, hold me, and they say, help me where I am, even when he goes into the bathroom. And then he says, hamtinuli, hamtinuli, wait for me, but don't tell them befedish, leave, go for me. At shakanis veitz, I enter and come out. Shekain darken shel b'nei adam. And he concludes what he says to the malachim, this is human nature, that a person has to use the bathroom. That's what a person says when he enters. Kinofik, when a person comes out, what does he say? Baruch HaSheyatzar Adam b'chochma, thanking the Eibishter for creating the human body with wisdom. The chalulim, the person's body has the cavities and the holes and everything that has to go through the body. If any of them opens or one that has to be opened is shut, closed. I can't stand for you. And as we add, even for one moment. And my chasim, how do you conclude the bracha? So Amar Rav said, Roifei choylem, Hashem heals all the sick. Amar Shmuel didn't like this conclusion. Because Shavinu Abba l'kul al mektsiri. Abba, which is Rav, he's referring to all of us as sick individuals. Ktsiri means sick people. We're thanking the Eibishter for healing all of us which are sick when you use the bathroom. Ella, rather, what do you say? Roifei kol basa. When a person uses the bathroom, he heals the whole body that he's able to relieve himself. Rav Sheshes added, Mafli Lasa. It's a wonder what the Eibishter does in everything in the body that works. Rav Papa said, Hilkach lemrinu l'tarvayu. Therefore we mention both of them, Roifei chol basar u'mafli lasais. Rashi here says that the mafli lasais of the body is when you have a barrel that's filled with air, or something that's filled with air, and you make one hole in it so all the air leaves. The human body has air inside of it that it needs in the lungs or whatever it needs in the body, and it has openings. And nevertheless, the air that has to remain inside the body remains there inside. And Rashi says that's the Pele and the Chochma. The Rashi's lashon over here is V'zuhi plio Chochma. This is the Pele and the Chochma that there is, Mafli Lasais. In Chassidus, it's always brought this union of Mafli Lasais, that the Pele of Mafli Lasais is that the Eibishter combines the Guf and the Nefesh. That the physical life receives its energy from the Neshama, even though the Neshama and the Guf are infinitely apart from each other. But the fact that the Eibishter connects two opposites, the Guf and the Neshama, that's the Pele that the Eibishter can bring two opposites together, and that's the Mafli Lases. A person is going to sleep. He says, this is the Kriya Shema Shalamita, Mishma Yisrael ad Vayim Shemoya. So you say from the Shema Yisrael until Vayim Shemoya. And then Vayim you say the bracha, Baruch HaMapel Chavle Sheina Aleinai, Usnum Alaf Apayu. The Eibishter gives us the ability to go to sleep, Umeir Liishim Basayin. Here, it includes, it's a different nusach, and it includes part of the bracha that we say in the morning. And it shouldn't be accustomed to any avedas. That is, the Yetzatayv should be dominant in my life. I shouldn't be afraid from any bad dreams, and I should wake up in the morning and not pass away in my sleep. That's when a person goes to sleep. When a person awakens in the morning, what does the person say? The neshama that you've given me, tahayrehi, ata yitzartavi, ata nefachtabi. We add ata v'rosa, ata yitzarta, ata nefachta, which is bri, yitzira, and asiya, and vata meshamra bekirbi, vata asad litla mimeni. The Eibusha takes away my body, ulachzira bi, and return it to me, la asad lavai. The Eibusha takes away my neshama and returns it to me, la asad lavai. As long as I have my neshama in me, Alter Rebbe in Tanya, in Perik Mem Aleph, I believe it is, or maybe Mem Beis, the Alter Rebbe explains about this nusach of the bracha that we say over here. We're not only thanking the Eibusha for giving us back the neshama, but we also mention that the neshama will be taken away from us and it will be in Gan Eden. And that loss of love, the Eibusha will return to us the neshama by tchias hamesim. So the Alter Rebbe says what this is reminding a person is every day. We're not only thanking the Eibusha for giving us back our neshama, we're also trying to remind ourselves where the true place of our neshama is. The true place of a neshama is either in Gan Eden or in tchias hamesim, loss of love, where the gashmis of the world is not teifes makim. And therefore we're reminding ourselves, even now when I live in life and there is an existence of Gashmias, but nevertheless, a Yid should turn away from the Gashmias and be ready to do a mitzvah and learn and daven, because that's the true place of the neshama. And that's the Mesiris Nevesh that a Yid is ready to have every single day. That's why we mentioned those parts in this bracha as well. When you hear the sound of the tarnagoyla, of the rooster in the morning, the person should say, Baruch Hashanah ala sechvi v'ino lahavchem ben yom v'en leila. The Eibusha gave the sechvi, which is the tarnagoyl, to have the wisdom to see the difference between morning and night, and it wakes the people up. Ki pasach einei, when a person opens his eyes in the morning, he says the bracha, Baruch pekeh ivrim, thanking the Eibusha for opening his eyes. Ki taretz v'yasiv, when a person stretches himself and he sits, he says, Baruch matar asurim, that the Eibusha frees him from prison, where his limbs, he's able to move his limbs and sit up. Ki lavish, when a person gets dressed, Leime should say, Baruch mal b'sharumim, that a person, the Eibusha gives him the clothing to wear. Ki zakif, when a person straightens himself out, Leime baruch zaykif kfufim, the Eibusha straightens out his body which has been crouched. Ki nachas lada, when he goes down on the ground, Leime, he says, Baruch reikar atzalamayim, the Eibusha creates a steady place that he can walk upon. Ki maski, when a person walks, Leime, he should say, Baruch hameichem mitzadi gavar, the Eibusha prepares the feet of the mitzadi gavar wherever a person goes. Ki sayim misane, when he puts on his shoes, Leime, he should say, Baruch shasali kol tzarki, thanking the Eibusha for giving him his shoes, which is considered to be kol tzarki. Without shoes, a person can't really do all of his needs and go anywhere. So you make the bracha of kol tzarki. Ki aser hamyanei, when he ties his belt and he's able to wear his pants and he's able to go wherever he has to. Leime baruch oizi Yisrael begvura. The Eibusha gives the Yidden a belt to tie begvura, with might. Ki paras sudra al reishei, when he covers his head, Leime, he says, Baruch oiti Yisrael b'sefara, thanking the Eibusha for giving the crown, the glory to the Yidden which is covering his head. So the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch says, these last two brachas are the only brachas where you mention Yisrael, where you mention a Yid, even though Lahavdul Goy may be putting on his belt or covering his head as well, but by a Yid, putting on your belt is also to separate between your heart and the erva, as we learned earlier in the Gemara, to be able to daven. And a Yid puts on a head covering, whether a yarmulke, a hat, whatever it is, also to be able to daven. So therefore, this is a special bracha where we add the Yid in it, that it's for the purpose of davening. Then kimatav b'tzitzis, when a person puts on tzitzis, Leime, he says, Baruch Hashem k'shtana b'mitzvayis v'tzivanu le'atif b'tzitzis, to wrap yourself in the tzitzis. Kimonach tefillin adare, when a person puts a tefillin on his arm, Leime, she'd say the bracha, Baruch Hashem k'shtana b'mitzvayis v'tzivanu lahaniach tefillin, to put on tefillin. Areishe, when he puts on tefillin on his head, Leime, he says another bracha, Baruch Hashem k'shtana b'mitzvayis v'tzivanu al mitzvahs tefillin. You make the bracha al mitzvahs tefillin. So there's a big machlokes about this. The main sugi of this inyan is in the Gemara in Menachos. And over there, we paskin according to the shitta that says that only if you made an interruption between the bracha of laniach and the bracha shel rosh, on the Rosh Harash, then you have to make a separate bracha. But otherwise, you don't make a separate bracha. Kimashi yadeh, when a person washes his hands, leimei, says the bracha, Baruch Hashem keshanu b'mitzvayis v'tzivanu al netilas yadayim. Kimashi ape, when you wash your face in the morning to prepare for davening, you have to wash your hands and your face. Leimei Baruch HaMavachev l'shenim einas numa amafapai, that they should remove the sleep from his face and he's able to see and daven. And then you continue, v'yiratzmu v'necha Hashem alakash targileinu b'seidesecha v'dapkeinu b'mitzasecha v'al tevienu le'ledei chet v'le'ledei ovim v'le'ledei nisayim v'le'ledei v'zayin v'chayfes tzitzri l'shtabed lach v'rachakeinu mi'adam ra mi'chavera v'dapkeinu v'yetzetayv v'chavetayv b'yolamcha. V'sitneini ayoyim v'choyim l'cheinu l'chesed l'rachim b'einecha v'veine kol rayai v'sigvaleinu chasadim toivim baruch atah Hashem goyim chasadim toivim lam Yisrael. This is the nusach of the bracha we say, with the only difference that we say it in the Lashon Rabbim. We already learned earlier in Gemara Brachos that whenever a person davens, even if he's davening only for himself, he should use a Lashon Rabbim, including himself, with the rest of Klal Yisrael.
Is there like a Yerushalmi that changes these things?
The nusach of the bracha?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No.
Those nuschais are different nuschais in the Gemara right over here. Yeah, so beneged to the brachas that the Gemara described over here, Brachos HaShachar, in the Gemara it says, make the bracha as that thing happens. When you wake up and you open your eyes, say Pakei Chivrim. Every single thing as it happens, which is the way it's brought also in Shulchan Aruch. But then the Alter Rebbe adds that we don't make the bracha b'shas ma'aseh when you do it, and for two reasons. Number one, because our hands are tamei, and number two, because of amaratzim. They don't know how to make that bracha all at the time when it's done, so therefore we make all the brachas together. Later on, you come into Beis HaKnesses, and then you make the brachas for everything together after you washed your hands. The minig Chabad, though, is that we make the bracha, you go in the Welt, they make the bracha, you come to Shul, and they start to put on tefillin, and then after they put on tefillin, you go to the Amid, and you start with Brachos HaShachar. The Bavish minig is that you make the bracha at home before you go to Shul.
They didn't think of this Tumah issue in the Gemara?
Could be then, people were nizar. The Tumah, al pi nigla, after when a person wakes up from sleep, comes not from the Bruchnis Degeinian. It's because a person, while he's asleep, he's not careful, his hands, Yadayim mashmishani his hand, is the Lashon the Gemara uses. A person's hands go all over the place, and it goes in parts of his body that are not pure, and therefore makes him tummy. I guess then they were holier people, and even while they were asleep, their hands were in the right place, and they woke up and their hands were pure. They were able to make a bracha immediately.
So why is the brother of the Grove, Chaim, used to sleep with the gloves?
Yeah. Okay, they sleep with gloves, so they can make the brachas then.
Why are meant to say at home as opposed to bedroom?
Not sure. That's Mini Chabad. Sagt the Gemara weiter, Chayav Adam Levarech. We learned in our Mishnah, a person is obligated to make the bracha for something that's negative, just like he makes it on something that's positive that happens. Frek the Gemara, what does that mean? What does it mean that you make the bracha on a tragedy, chas v'shalom, on something negative, like something which is good? Are you going to say what this means is just like the very same bracha that you make on good? Hatayva meitiv, that Eibush is good and he does good to others. Kach mevarach ala ra, the same bracha you make for something which is negative. But that's not true. Hatayva meitiv, that you make the same bracha hatayva meitiv. Vatnan, but we learned in the Mishnah, absurdis tayvis. For good news, I'm hatayva meitiv. Absurdis rois, on negative news, I'm barach daina emes, that it's a different bracha. So rather, amarave leinitzracha ella lekibulinu besimcha. The bracha over here is that a person should accept the negative with joy, just like he's accepting what happens good to him with joy. He should accept this also besimcha. So Rashi's pshat in the Gemara here is that he should accept what happened belev of shalim, with a whole heart. Just like when something happens, which is the positive, the person that embraces it and accepts it with a whole heart. The same thing also, when something negative happens, you should know it comes from the Eibush and you should accept it belev of shalim. The Alter Rebbe's pshat in Tanya, though, in Perek Chavav is different. The Alter Rebbe says that the pshat of likablinu b'simcha means literally that a person should realize that just like something which is revealed good is good because he sees the good in it, even something which he doesn't see the good in it, it's not teiv anirva nigle, but the Eibishter is the etzem ateiv, and the etzem it is good. He just can't see it. And Adarabah, the Alter Rebbe over there, the famous thing the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya Perek Chavav, that the good that comes in a way that the person can't see, be'emes has a higher shayrish. It comes from a place of almada, iskasya, it comes from yudke, it comes from a higher shayrish, and therefore when it comes down below, it's concealed from the person, you don't see the goodness in it. So lekablinu b'simcha means literally that a person should stop and think and realize that there has to be a goodness of the Eibishter in this. I'm not yet zeicha to see it. If I'll be zeicha, I'll be able to see it, like the famous story with Nochem Ishgamzu, that he was zeicha to see the goodness of a negative thing that happened. But lekablinu b'simcha means kipshutei mamish, to accept the goodness of the Eibishter that's really there. Amar Ravacha Mishum Rav Levi Maikra. Where do you see a source for this that a person should accept the negative just like the positive? The pasuk says, Chesed u'mishpat, whether kindness or whether judgment, Ashir Elocha Hashem as Ameira. A person sings to the Eibishter. So which means, Im Chesed Ashira, whether it's open kindness, he sings. V'im mishpat, whether he's being judged harshly, also Ashira. He also sings to the Eibishter. Rab Shmuel ben Achmeni Yama Mehacha, Rab Shmuel ben Achmeni brought another pasuk, Ba'Hashem Halil Davar, Ba'Elekim Halil Davar. The person sings to the Eibishter and it says Hashem and it says Elekim. What does this mean? Ba'Hashem Halil Davar Zu Midateva. Hashem referring to the mid of Rachamim, so that he sings for the positive. Ba'Elekim Halil Davar, Elekim, which is the judgment of the Eibishter, Zu Midas Paranias. Even when the person is being judged and punished, he also sings to the Eibishter. Another pasuk, Kais Yeshua is Esa Uvishem Hashem Ekra, that the person picks up his akais to sing to the Eibishter and he calls out to the Eibishter. Tzara v'yagan emtza u'v'shem Hashem ekra. Even if there's a tzara and a yagan, he also calls out to the Eibishter. V'rabbanan amri mehacha, Hashem nosan v'Hashem lakach. Hashem gives. And even when Hashem takes away, Yishem Hashem avaydach. Either way, a person should thank and bless the Eibishter. Okay, so let's continue. Finish off this. This is the famous story of Rabbi Akiva. This is not the story of Nachum Ish Gamzu, but this is a similar story of Rabbi Akiva, which said, "Called Avad Rachman al-Tav of it." What happened? Amar Avuna, Amar Rav, Mishum Rab Meir, v'chein Tanim Mishmei Rabbi Akiva, la'olam ye'adam ragal le'meima called Avad Rachman al-Tav of it. A person should always accustom himself to say, whatever Hashem has done is only for the good. Ki hada Rabbi Akiva davak azal ba'orcha. Rabbi Akiva was traveling on the way. Matalo Masa, he came to a city, Boya Shpiza. He wanted to have a guest house to be able to stay in. Lo Yavale. They rejected him. They didn't give him a space to stay. So Amma, he said, Kol dav Rachman al-Tav. Whatever Hashem does is for the good. Azal uvaz bedabra. He went and slept and was going to sleep out in the field. He had with him a rooster, a donkey, and a candle. Asa zika kavi l'shraga. A wind comes and extinguished the light of the candle. Asa shundra v'achla l'tarnagayla. A cat came and ate up the rooster. Asa arya achla l'chamra. A lion came and ate up the donkey. Omar, he said, every time this happened, he said, Kol the Ovad Rachman al-Tav. Everything Hashem does is for the good. Beba Lelia on that night, Asa Gaisa, an army came, Shavi Asa, and captured all the people of the city. Amalahu, so now he said to the people, Lav Omri Luchu, did I not tell you, Kol Mashes HaKadosh Baruch Hu HaKol HaTeva? Everything is for the good. And Rashi explains, if he would have had the light with him, or the rooster, or the donkey, and there would have been any noise, they would have noticed him as well, and he would have been captured as well. So everything the Eibishter does is only for the good. If you had Rabbi Akiva, you could be zeicha to see it, or a person could be zeicha sometimes to see the open and revealed good. Everyone should only see open and revealed good. The Eibishter is a kol yachal, he can make everything only revealed good.